You know, I've always been one of those people whose physical world and digital world are just different. Like, I have different skills in a digital world than I do in a physical world. I'm creative digitally, but don't ask me to draw anything with my actual hands. My actual organization skills, well, they could use some work, but I can organize the mess out of some digital things. So I thought it would be a fun video to show you how I organize my digital clutter and hopefully give you some tips and tricks on how to organize yours, because y'all, if I see one more screenshot where somebody's desktop looks like this, I'm gonna lose my marbles. Hey, howdy, hey, y'all. Welcome back to my channel. I am pumped that you are here. If you're new here, hi, hello. I'm so glad. If you're not new here, welcome back. Pull up a seat. It's gonna be a fun one. Honestly, any kind of clutter really inhibits our ability to be productive and to do the things in the best, most efficient way. I'm not great with physical clutter. I literally am looking at a pile of papers right here. There's a bunch of junk piled up over there. Oh, I was actually looking for that hair clip. There's stuff behind me that you can't see that's strategically placed out of view, and don't get me started on that closet, and that's just in my office. But my business runs digitally. For me, and honestly for my team and for my sanity, I have to keep things pretty, buttoned up tight in the digital realm. I have 3 main tips today to hopefully help you kind of bust through the clutter and not be a cluttered maniac anymore, digitally anyway. Don't come to me for physical clutter tips. I am not a minimalist, but digitally, I can help you. So first things first, you need some systems in your life, and not just organizational digital systems, but systems that do things for you. I would honestly say that most people need 3 main systems, 3 main ways to get 3 certain things done. Let me explain, because that was a little confusing. And honestly, some of these systems might overlap depending on what you're using. You need a system for your photos, a system for all the pictures that are hanging out on your phone. And if you're like me and take pictures with a big, nice camera, all of those pictures, you need a system for your photos. Not just a system, but a backup process too. Because let me tell you, it's one of my worst fears to lose my pictures. I think it's because I love photography and I love pictures so much. And also, my husband's house burnt down when he was little, and they lost a ton of his childhood pictures. So he doesn't have a ton of pictures from his childhood. So now we live in a world where things are different, right? Like a house fire is not gonna cause us to lose our photos. But for example, my sister-in-law just sent me a frantic text message a few weeks ago, and she was like, oh my gosh, my MacBook will not come on. She has an older MacBook. It won't come on. It won't turn on. And she's freaking out because all of the videos that she took from the time her kids were little, 4 and 7, up to a few years ago, are stored only on that computer. And let me tell you, that is not a good feeling. I'm hoping she's able to get somebody at the Apple store to fix it, but you get the gist. We wanna back up our photos and we wanna also organize them. And what's really cool is a lot of apps, by the way, this is not sponsored at all. There are a lot of apps out there that help us kind of do both, and I would highly recommend you get one of those. Clearly, there are things like iCloud Photos, which is stored in the iCloud, and honestly, it is not my favorite. I use it, I back up photos there, but it's not my favorite system. I personally really like backing up my photos to both Dropbox and Amazon Photos. So I'm already paying for Amazon Prime, so Amazon Photos is an easy thing for me to use, and both Dropbox and Amazon auto backup from my phone based on a setting within the app. Anytime I take a picture on my phone, those apps will back that photo up into their system. And Dropbox doesn't do a great job of organizing it, but Amazon Photos does. They organize it by date and year and month and all the things. So if I know I want to find a picture from 2014 and I know it was in August, I can go searching on the Amazon Photos app for August of 2014 and I can find those pictures. So 1, you need systems to back up and organize your photos for you. And I like anything that's gonna do the work for me. One of my big projects this summer is to actually go back through anything before I had Amazon Photos, so probably 2015, 2014, and get all of the discs that I have our pictures on and back them up in the cloud somewhere, because I don't currently have those backed up, but I do have them printed, so I guess there's a little bit of a backup. But when you find a system that will not only store your photos, but they'll organize them, you have just killed 2 birds with 1 stone. The second system is an information organization system. These are things like Dropbox or Google Drive, where you can store documents and things that really aren't photos that need to go somewhere else. From a personal standpoint, you know, if you have like contracts that you have signed, or if you have copies of like your power of attorney or your will, or copies of your taxes, or things that you know you're going to need over and over again, you can store them in something like Dropbox or Google Drive and get back to them whenever you need them. And then from a business perspective, one of these systems is really going to help you organize all the things kind of that go along in your business. Inside of my Dropbox, we have folders for things like branding and the design of our merch, and a folder for each course I've created, folders for my YouTube videos, folders for the reels and gifts that my team creates after the YouTube video is done, folders for freebies that we've done, folders for my Zoom call recordings and anything that I do on a screen recording basis. We have a podcasting folder. We have a sponsorship folder that helps us keep and back up all of the contracts and things that we use with sponsors. We have a ton of different folders that keep the business organized. And honestly, I think it's just kind of personal preference. Do you want Google Drive? Do you want Dropbox? There are some things that I have on both, but that's pretty well kind of the decision there. Okay, so you need a photo organization backup system. You need an information organization system. And third, you need some type of project management system. If you're watching this and you don't run a business, you're not someone who's like creating content on the internet, you still really could use something that, you know, had a free plan or something like that to organize projects around your home, to organize things you want to get done. For instance, we are getting ready to finally friggin' finish our garage. If you have been around here a while, this has been a process, because of course we built it in the middle of COVID and a middle of like shortages of things, and it's just been a disaster. We're getting ready to finish, and the last few things we have to do are to get it wired, so we have electricity and lights out there, to get a door, and to get it painted. The rest of it is good. So to be able to organize my project in that way is amazing. But most of you watching this channel are at least a content creator, you run a business of some sort, etc. And having a project management system is going to change your business, honestly. And it's really gonna help you bust through digital clutter, because you are not just gonna have like something in your notes app and something over here and something over here. You're gonna have a spot for it all to be streamlined and set up in. So y'all know I use ClickUp. This is actually not sponsored by ClickUp, but I love them so very much. But there are systems like ClickUp, Trello, Asana, Notion, anything that's gonna help you organize and put all your projects kind of together is going to be spectacular. And just to kind of round out this little chat about systems, you need the systems. You need the photo system, you need the information systems. They could be the same system. You need these things, but you also need to use them. So if you're listening and you're like, oh yeah, that would be a great idea, go do it. Like, take action. I promise you'll come back and thank me, okay? Before we move on to the second tip that I have for you for actually busting through your digital clutter, I need to add a little like amendment to the system one. Back up your crap. Back it up. Back it up, baby. Back it way up, okay? Back up everything that you have. You can back up on other cloud systems. So for instance, my photos are literally always live on my phone. I never delete photos off my phone. I just buy a bigger phone every time and I never delete pictures. So that's like technically like the original, right? And then I back up to iCloud. I also back up to Amazon Photos. I also back up to Dropbox because, again, I'm terrified of losing my photos. So that's my backup system for my photos. The information stuff that you have, you can kind of come up with your own way to back that up. Do you want to back up everything in Dropbox to Google Drive? Do you want to back up everything in Dropbox to an external hard drive? Do you want to back up everything in Dropbox to another file management system? Do you want to use something like ClickUp to back up all your stuff in Dropbox? Because you can totally store files in ClickUp, but back up your stuff, because it's one thing to have a system. It's another thing to make sure that that system is kind of fail-proof and you don't like lose access to the system or something goes wrong, because again, you don't own these things, especially these cloud services, and we really don't want to lose our stuff. So now you know how to actually organize your digital clutter. The next two things are really tips on helping you combat digital clutter and helping you move into a system where you use the systems to organize the things, okay? Now that you have a system set up for all all the things in your life. Second thing I want you to do to combat this digital clutter is to keep your desktop clean. At least organize it. If you want to use your desktop as a way to store files, like that's on you, boo. But you need to at least organize it. I like to keep mine completely clean. The only thing that really lives on my desktop from time to time are GIFs that I have like saved I'm using immediately. So I'm constantly like selecting all and deleting crap off my desktop because I don't store anything there. I use the desktop version of Dropbox. My screenshots automatically go into Dropbox. My screen recordings automatically save to Dropbox. I don't have to have all of these things on my desktop, and I would highly recommend you implement some systems like that. It's just a quick Google to figure out how to do that. On a Mac, there's like a command in the code of the computer or whatever. I don't know what it's called, but there's something in there you can do to change the location of your screenshots, and it's super easy. I don't have any clue how to do anything on a PC, but I'm sure it's a quick Google too. But honestly, keeping your desktop clean and organized is going to, oh my gosh, it's gonna save so much time because one, you're not gonna be digging through stuff, but two, you can have a pretty desktop and not have to have everything looking all funky. Now, if you're someone who likes to keep things on your desktop, I would highly recommend having something like this that is a desktop photo background that has sections for you to organize your stuff so that when you're looking at it, everything is organized. I did this for a really long time. I used a desktop photo background that was actually an organizer. I created my own and I organized my stuff in that way, even like with my Dropbox folders. Now I really like a clean desktop, but again, you do you. If you want to grab your own copy of the desktop organizer, I will link it below in the description. It's free. You can just grab it, just put in your email and you'll get a download for it. It's actually a Canva template. So when you open it up in Canva, you'll be able to change the headings of each of the sections because I want you to be able to completely customize it to what you need. What you need is different from what I need, so that's why I did it that way. So again, if you want to grab your own copy, it's totally free. There's a link below in the description, or you can go to heyjessica.com/desktop organizer, okay? But use something like that. If you really want to keep things on your desktop, use something like that. That way you can keep everything kind of organized. And last things last thing that's really gonna help you kick clutter to the curb in your digital world, I said digital world, is to turn off your dadburn notifications. If you have hung out for me for any amount of time, you know that I hate push notifications on any device. Hate them. They're the bane of my existence. They are the devil. Turn them off. This is gonna help you keep your notifications uncluttered, but probably more important than that, it's gonna keep the dreaded red bubble away from your devices. Now listen, I don't mind the red bubble. It doesn't bother me at all. If I had my notifications on my email, it would probably tell you that I have like 10,000 unread emails. Wouldn't even bother me for a second. But anytime I take a screenshot, y'all are like, girl, why are there 100 million notifications? Well, that's why. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But most people, it does bother them to have like little red notification bubbles everywhere all over their phone. You've got 5 here for your email. You've got 10 here for your text messages. You've got 42 over here for Voxer. You've got 109 in Discord, whatever the scenario is. Notifications clutter up your stuff. So turn them off. Every device you have has the ability to let you customize what notifications get pushed in your face and what stay in the background. Turn your Facebook notifications off, turn your Instagram notifications off, turn your email notifications off, turn it all off. And actually in this video, I know I didn't talk about like email organization, but I do have a whole video all about that I'll make sure is popping across the screen. Is it on this side or is it on this side? I never know, but it's gonna be popping across the screen, okay? So if you wanna figure out some like email ninja tips, I've got you, okay? But turn off all the notifications. Set some time in your day to go into each of these apps to check them out. So for me, I need to be in Facebook because I have Facebook groups that are for my students that I need to be checking and making sure that I haven't missed a question in. I need to be in Discord because my Rebel Squad now has a Discord community that we hang out in, which by the way, if you're not part of my Rebel Squad, it's $5 a month. It's basically like my Patreon, if you will. You get an extra weekly podcast episode with me, which right now is the only podcast episode with me, which is a little bit, I call it the weekly rambling because it's kind of business, but it's also just kind of me rambling about things that happened that week. And they love it. By the way, everybody in my Rebel Squad is their favorite part, including mine. You also get digital goodies from me and a Discord community. So if you want to join that. It's $5 a month. I will put the link in the description, but I have all of these things, okay? And I need to check them. I need to check my Instagram notifications. I need to check my YouTube notifications, but I don't need the app to tell me when I need to check them. So I have timers on my phone, and now at this point, I just have times throughout the day that I know I need to go in and check those things. So turning off your notifications is gonna help drastically decrease the clutter, I promise. All right, so like I said a minute ago, actually take action. Go find a system to organize your photos, then do it. It might take a million years to get you all the photos on your phone backed up somewhere else, but do it. Okay? Find a system for your information and do it. Find a project management system and do it. Clean up that desktop, get rid of the notifications, and you are gonna feel like a new human, at least in your digital world. If you're like me, your physical world might still be a mess, but we're just gonna ignore that, okay? Oh, and I mentioned 2 things in this video that I want to remind you about. One is the desktop clutter organizer that you can get for free. Just go to heyjessica.com/desktop organizer. I'll have that link below in the description too. And if you want to join the Rebel Squad, you can just head over to heyjessica.com/join. The link to do that is always in the description of my videos. And until next time, bye y'all.